My name is Jill Stark. I'm from Ohio, and I moved to Chicago in 2000. So thank you for having me here in Milwaukee. This is a wonderful community. Wow. It feels like home, so thank you I feel so welcomed here. Such a warm welcome and such a wonderful community. I love to see this, and I love to see these types of events. It just really warms my heart. So my story is true. I was born deaf. I went to a special school in Findlay, Ohio. It's in the northwest part of Ohio. Now, my home there was very rural. It was 30 miles from the school. And I rode the small yellow bus to school. There were 4 rows of seats. And there was a wheelchair accessible area behind the bus driver. I think you are familiar with those that have the small ramp for the wheelchair access. So just want to give you a good picture of what this small yellow bus looks like. There's 6 students that rode this bus. Now, I was 6 years old when this story occurred. I remember everything as if it was yesterday. Now, this is from my deaf perspective, what I saw on this event. I got dressed that morning and got ready for school. I had my strawberry shortcake shirt on. It was my favorite shirt. It was March 3rd, 1983. So I get the small yellow bus in the morning, get pulled up to my house. The bus driver was one of my favorites. His name was Harry. This is his name sign. He was such a positive, friendly man. He was my bus driver for 14 years. So Harry shows up, I get on the bus and take my seat. Now, I sat right behind where the area for a wheelchair was, which is right behind the driver. Now, it took 1 hour and 30 minutes to get from my house to the bus, or to the school, because we had to stop and pick up one kid after another, and, you know, it was not a direct route. It was quite circuitous. So remember, we had to pick up 6 students. So I got on the bus. Tammy, who was also 6, sat on the bus with me. There were 2 other students who were mentally challenged. There was a kid that sat in the back, and there's a 17-year-old deaf guy named Tony. He was also in the way back. There was an 18-year-old teenager, Anita. I really looked up to her. She was like my role model. So we were all happily on our bus to school. We were on the highway after we'd all been picked up. And we are, again, in the country, so it's rural. There's nothing. So we are just having our little conversations, making friends with Tammy, and we're just having our little 6-year-old chats, remember? 6-year-old Tammy and 6-year-old me are in the front seat. All of a sudden, I was on the floor, out of the blue. I'm on the floor. My body is on the floor of the bus. Everything is different. Everything's out of place. The windows are shattered. I'm shaking. I'm cold. It's a cold morning. It's March 3rd. I'm shaking and I'm freezing and it's cold. And Harry's pacing. Harry's pacing. missing? There's blood. There's blood on his face and in his eyes. I was so confused. I don't understand what's going on. I don't know what's happening. And one minute I was talking, and the next minute I'm on the floor, and there's blood, and there's shattered, and there's glass, and I'm on the floor. And I see my friend Tammy. She's in a different seat. Everything's out of place. I'm so confused. Tammy, what are you doing? From one moment we're happy, and then there's, oh, I don't understand what's going on. Things aren't making sense. I'm so cold, and there's blood. There's blood. I feel like somebody threw blood at me. There's blood all over me. I don't know what's going on. And I looked at the girl, Anita, the girl behind me, the 18-year-old. I said, are we going to school? And she said, don't move your mouth. Don't do that. Don't move your mouth. They're all looking at me in a state of shock. And I'm cold, and I don't understand what's going on. And this teenage boy, he's cute. He looks like he's about 17. You know the 80s style had that feathered hair? So he had feathered hair and braces, and he has a blanket. And he comes up to me. And I thought, wow, he's a cute boy. He looked like, and the blanket was a fairy blanket. And I thought, oh, this cute boy's giving me a fairy blanket because I'm cold. He wraps me up in a blanket, and someone gives me a napkin. They said, hold it onto your face. So I held this napkin onto my face. Someone picked me up. I don't know who, but someone picked me up and put me on the back seat, like it was a bed. I was laying there by myself. I couldn't hear anything, and I was behind the seat. And I looked at the ceiling. I'm by myself. I'm holding a napkin to my face, and I have a blanket around me. It seems like everybody left, and I felt alone. I was alone in the back of the bus, near the emergency door. All of a sudden, I see this light. It's red and blue, and it's flashing on the ceiling. And I see reflections of it flashing on the ceiling as I'm holding this napkin to my mouth. And I think, wow, those are pretty lights. Two men came over. I had never seen them before. They're looking in the bus. Someone picks me up. I felt like a fairy. They picked me up and carried me out of the bus. It felt like an angel. I had the napkin held onto my face. They put me on a new bed. It was inside an ambulance. They put me on a bed. They strapped me in as I'm holding this napkin on my face. I felt alone. But that Anita, the 18-year-old girl, I saw her with me in the ambulance. I felt I could breathe. She was the only one that was with me. I felt the movement as I was on a boat. It was actually the ambulance going full speed towards the hospital. I didn't understand what was going on. The ambulance was going full speed towards the hospital. And Anita said, our bus crashed. And I didn't understand because I was 6 and I was innocent. I never thought something like that could happen to me with the blood and the bus driver. Was the bus driver hurt? I thought I would never see my parents again. I thought I would never be able to go home again because the crash happened in the middle of nowhere. So we arrived to the hospital. I had lights and doctors and nurses, and I'm on a metal bed. And I see these lights and these faces staring at me. These faces staring at my face. And a nurse said stuff And I said, I need to go to the bathroom. And they said, okay, fine. And then they left. I needed to go to the bathroom. So someone held my hand as my 6-year-old little self walked to the bathroom. I felt so much better after I went. And I wanted to see the mirror. I thought I was a princess, like, you know, I was a 6-year-old princess. Because I liked to look in a mirror, so I loved looking in mirrors. There's a mirror in the bathroom. I will never forget looking at my face. The nurse, I will never forget the look on the nurse's face. She said, honey, you don't want to look in the mirror. I said, yes, I'm a pretty princess. I want to look in the mirror. So she picked me up over the sink so I could wash my hands. It was horrifying. My face was red and cut. My chin, my jaw was shattered and bloody and broken. I screamed. I felt I would never be the same again. What happened to me? So they had to stitch my face. They used a fish hook type needle to stitch my face. I was not put to sleep. I was awake for the procedure. My parents arrived. I was very relieved because I thought I'd never see them again. I was able to go home. I had stitches all over. It took a long time to recover. And there are permanent scars on my face, even to this day. But that guy who came onto the bus, who gave me the fairy blanket that I cherished, he was the one who hit my bus. He was a 17-year-old boy who was trying to beat the bus and ignored that stop sign, ignored a stop sign. He was late for school, so he hit our bus. The bottom line, please stop for buses. Doesn't matter if you're late for school, it doesn't matter if you're late for work. Stop for buses. You can impact the lives of many children, and I'm one of them, who has scars on my face to this day. When I look in the mirror, I see them. I have makeup that covers them up, but thank you so very much for listening to my story. Wow, thank you.